Okay, this is the point we got to yesterday, and I'm going to talk to you about shading your eye now. Actually, yesterday you may have gotten your pupil shaded in. So the pupil, you don't need to do anything fancy. It's just pure black. And if you notice, I have a really sharp pencil. That's really important for shading. Okay. All right. And then because skin is not white, no one's skin is white, I like to put a nice even tone of skin tone over my whole thing. Now you have to remember your smooth shading. I have a sharp pencil. I'm going to hold it at the end of my pencil so I get the side of the lead on the paper. Okay. And then very gently, very controlled, I'm going to do little circles, small area at a time. I'm going to shade a large area right over the top of my eye. Okay, the only thing I'm going to try and avoid is that white highlight. But we're going to include eyebrows and shading around the eye, so I want to give it a nice smooth tone. And it probably looks a little light on camera, and you can always go back and darken a little bit, okay? But I don't want to see streaks like this, okay? We want nice, smooth, even tone. Okay, and that's the type of shading we're going to do the whole time. We're going to use our tip for getting crisp, dark edges, and then we're going to use the side to get smooth shading like that. Okay, the first thing I have you do, so that you don't forget how important it is to shade the lash line. Very dark right here. The reason is because this is where the eyelashes come out, and so it's going to be dark right there. But your eyelid also casts a little shadow onto the eyeball. So I'm darkening that with the tip of my pencil, and then I'm bringing it down a little bit, fading it downwards. Okay, still avoiding around my highlight. Okay, see how I'm just fading that down? It casts a little shadow on the eyeball. Okay, I also want to do the corners of the eyes. So I'm going to start dark there, and I'm going to fade it out. And I want my eyeball to look round, so I'm keeping my marks round and fading. Okay, so I'll probably pause the video there. Sorry, you don't have to pause. I'm going to pause it when I'm showing it to them. Sorry. Okay, you can hit start again.
So stop it.
Oh, were you paused at all, or were you still recording?
Just keep going.
Oh, okay. Almost out of battery. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the crease above the eye. So that's a crease of skin. So it's a little dark inside, but then it fades and gets lighter. And it's going to do that both above and below. So I'm just kind of fading that line away. So it's not just a crisp line, it has a faded edge. Both above it and below it. Okay, you want your eye to look round too, so I'm going to shade this down a little bit. Shade this down a little bit. And keep the brightest of my eyelid right at the top here. Okay, the corners of the eye. Remember, this is like little pink skin things. So I'm going to just shade the corners, fade them. Just kind of want to shade that down. You can erase the little tiny highlights if you want. A little highlight inside. Just going to kind of shade that down. Okay, now the fun is in the iris. If some people have such dark eyes that their iris looks almost black, like their pupil. But most people have a little bit of design in their eye or variation. So the pigment tends to cluster around the edge of it. So I'm going to really darken that edge, but I'm going to fade it out. Sorry, I got to turn my paper to shade. Okay. You can have it smooth like that, or you can create designs. So some people have kind of like lines in their eye. So you can pretend like the pupil's a sun, add some lines. You could add those lines on the edge here. then you can connect them. So you just pretend like your pupil is like a sun or like a wheel that all your lines radiate out of. Okay, and then highlights. So I'm gonna use my eraser. I'm gonna make sure this highlight is still bright, and I don't really want a line around it. So I'm gonna try and erase that line and then bring the shading just right to the edge. Diagonally from it, you can kind of illuminate the iris a little bit. See that just tiny highlight that I added there. You can make the whites of your eyes look a little more white. Okay. And then you can add a bottom lid. Just a tiny skinny line there with a little shadow underneath. Okay, I'll probably do a separate video that shows eyelashes and eyebrows, but that's just the shading portion of the eyeball.